I'm Prince Dexter, popularly known as Oghene Dexter. I entered Oghene University in the year 1991 and I graduated February 1997, courtesy of ASU strike. Our own days in Great Ife was quite very interesting. When we came in as freshers, the normal hustling and bustling of new intakes, challenges of getting your registration done, getting accommodation. After then, I think we settled in quickly. Because this is a university that was, that time, I don't know how it is now, a whole community on its own. Everything was there. The ambience, the academic environment was conducive. They don't take lights, 24 hours power supply, water, and everything you needed was provided, but the standard of education at that time was very high. And Great Ife traditionally been known for our academic excellence. So, and a lot of activities as well. I was a very social person when I was on campus, and I was a bit into politics. So combining all this together with the rigors of academics was quite challenging. But I must say that I enjoyed all my days in Ife, and it was quite interesting. If I have the opportunity to go back to any university, I'll still go to Ife. Well, it's all about passion. When I was on campus, like I said earlier, I was a very social person. I belonged to the Kegels Club. I did a bit of politics. And our own time was the time when political consciousness of an average Ife student was very high. We had a lot of anuta, a lot of protests. This was a period when student unionism was at its peak. We take it up with the authority logically. We define what we wanted, and it worked for us. But on the social scene, I was more known by everybody because of the passion I have for culture. And Kegels Club is a cultural club. So eventually, when I was picked to become the war chief, that was about 26 years ago. I was coronated in 1995 to lead the most populous cultural club in the whole world. And I must tell you today that most of the things we learned, leadership qualities that we possess today, we actually had that training from Ife. And I will say why my name still remains very relevant in the club till today is because of the passion I have for the club. A lot of people after school, they forget about the club or forget whatever they might have done during their university days. So I still keep in touch with the club. I still participate in everything they do. And up to this moment, about a month ago, I still attended a conference of the club somewhere in Lagos. So it's all about passion. A lot of things.
Give us something.
most especially the social aspect. I was in Ife about 2 years ago. I went to Ondo for something. So I was coming back, it was late. So I had to sleep over in Ife. So I decided to put up at Rector's guest house on campus. So I remember that day, Real Madrid was playing. So we now went to New Buka, to the Bukateria, to watch the match at Rotunda Bar. And alas, after the match, they said we cannot take our car out again because they've locked the gate and the security have taken the key away. I couldn't believe my eyes. How do we move from New Buka to Rectors? Eventually we slept in the car at the car park and we left around 6 a.m. And I was just talking to myself till I got to Lagos that is it the same Great Ife that we attended? It is expected that a university student and anybody who is old enough to be admitted into the university is an adult. During our own time, we had a lot of liberties. You were allowed that time to think on your own. The student body union was functioning very well. A lot of social clubs, a lot of religious clubs, a lot of things. There was freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of movement. During our time, you can leave your hostel, either female hostel or male hostel, from Mozambique Hall and go as far as Ajose to go and read. 3 a.m., nothing will happen to you. Our campus was so safe. So I wonder what could have happened that they will be locking gates. We used to be in Bukateria till 1, 2 a.m. during our time. And we had a lot of social centers on campus during our time. Did you meet the Rotunda beside Oduduwa functioning very well? There used to be a bar under Oduduwa Hall during our time. There used to be, they sell beer in the sports hall, Botry, PGO Botry. We used to have all these markets in Angola, in Fajui Hall. You understand? They made life so easy for us. So I think there is a lot of students in Ife these days are being treated like kids. There's a lot of restrictions that were not there during our own time. Let me put it that way. So we enjoyed a lot of things during our time. During our days, elders sitting to select a new chief used to be a very sacred something. You cannot tell anybody how you were picked because it used to be shrouded in mystery. You don't contest for it. You know the way they pick a pope in Catholic? That all the cardinals will assemble and nobody ever knows till tomorrow what they deliberate upon. They will just come out immediately you see the smoke. A new pope is appointed. So when the elders sit to consider all the penultimates who are qualified, you don't contest for it, you don't campaign. Only God knows what they go there to say. Only God knows what they consider. Although the club has some guidelines for them, but it was a sacred thing. During my own time, what I can only tell you was that they started the meeting by 10 p.m. and eventually rose from the meeting by 9 a.m. in the morning. And they announced I was the one elected to be the next war chief. The whole campus erupted into joy because even non-members wanted me. So it made it a lot easier. The acceptance. Because in some cases, they will pick a chief, even the member of the club will not accept it. But in most cases, because we are the ward headquarters, we always accept who is being picked for us. But in my own case, thank God I was accepted, and all the executives chosen for me at the other city. I did not change anybody. They were the one I reigned with. And because there was ASUU strike, you were supposed to be a chief for 6 months, just 2 semesters. But me, I was a chief for 2 years. Because school was closed down, one academic session was totally scrapped. So maybe that added to my popularity, because I stayed too long on the throne. In some schools, I reigned with about 3 chiefs in some schools. Some colleges of education, school of health technology, that they run maybe 2 years program or 3 years program in NCEs. So you discover that I was still the war chief when this one was coordinated. They will coordinate another chief. So I was there for about 24 months. 24 months. For about 2 years. I was coordinated May 27, 1995. And I handed over January 17, 1997. Well, Kega's Club started as Palm Wine Drinkers Club. And Kega's Club is one of the greatest assets that Obafemi Awolowo University have today. In fact, what I said is that the club is as old as the university itself. The University of Ife was established in 1962 at the Ibadan campus here, the present site of the Polytechnic of Ibadan. And some students of the then University of Ife came together to form the Palm Wine Drinkers Club in October 1963, just a year after the school was established. And they moved to Ife, I think in 1960, they moved to the permanent site in Ife. After the first set graduated in 66, I think in 67 or 68. And the club has been there. So that is why we normally say that the Kega's Club is a day older than Obafemi Awolowo University. Because they were to open the permanent site on a particular date. The member of Kega's Club went a day before and they gyrated all night. So they normally claim that they are a day older than other students on that campus. So, why I said the Kega's Club is one of the greatest assets of Obafemi Awolowo University, by virtue of the fact that the club was formed by the then student of the University of Ife. So that is why University of Ife remains the world headquarters of the club. And anybody that is coronated as the chief in Ife is the world chief that preside over the function of the club all over the world. During my own time, I had the opportunity of establishing a branch of the club in UK, and till today they are still there. If they have any function, they still refer to Ife. Whatever they want to do globally, they take order from the world headquarters. So we have a lot of slang in the club, like if you are a penultimate, before you can be qualified to be a chief, you must have at least been a member of the club for at least 2 years. And you must have served as a member of the executive. We call them Grand Councillors. And you must be in your penultimate class, so that you will now reign in your final year as the president of the club. In a layman's language, we call it the chief. I think that was the war gyration I hosted during my time as the war chief. Because we recorded, I don't think this generation can record that kind of crowd again in a single generation. There were over 20 schools across the country that came in luxurious buses from University of Calabar, Ekpoma, Birnin Kebbi Polytechnic, University of Sokoto, University of Ilorin, University of Ibadan, name it, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, a lot of schools, over 20 luxurious buses parked in that one that day. Not even talking about those who came on their own. We call it one leg. Our cafeteria was full to the brim. Our car park full to the brim. Angola car park full to the brim. The crowd was massive. And the event was very, very successful. So I see it as one of the greatest events I attended in Ife. For learning and culture. Because it is believed that as a war chief, you are the first chancellor in charge of culture. While the physio of the school is the first chancellor in charge of learning. Well, I used to have a lot of friends, but some handful of very close friends. Everybody that was in Ife during that time, we know my best friend on campus, the closest person to me then on campus. Because you always see us together. We lived together from our part 1 till we graduated. We studied the same course, we were in the same class, and his name is Tai Oladuni. Everybody call him Sigati. He's presently the senior correctional officer at the state of Ohio prisons, correctional center in the United States of America. We still link up. We still talk regularly. In fact, there's no week we don't even talk on phone. And he's the godfather to my first child, and I'm the godfather to his first child too. Another very close friend of mine is Dayo Durotoye. He's a senior manager with Guinness Nigeria now. He read international relations. He was my elder when I was the chief, like the next person. And we still connect together. In fact, there's no week I don't see Dayo, because we both live in Lagos and work in Lagos. And we are still very close family friends. Tomi Ayoade is there, popularly known as Ebola. That was his nickname when we were in school. And Sheku Badejo is there, popularly known as Nasega. He was the one that handed over to me. He was the war chief the year before. He handed over to me directly. And the person I handed over to, we are still close family friends. That was Wole Atesegi, popularly known as Atex. It's my very close friends. So those are the few I can remember, and we still connect and we still relate very, very well till tomorrow. When I was in school, my extracurricular activity was to drink palm wine and sit in the shrine and gyrate. But now, watching football and traveling. I love everything about the anthem. I can't really pick a line. Imbibe majesty, only water is good for you. Only water from Kega Shrine that makes us happy every day. I just love everything about the anthem. We had a saying that time when we were in Ife. Anytime we go for maybe Nuga, or we have any interaction with students from other universities, we used to tell them that we have just 2 universities in Nigeria, Ife and others. So for those who are out there, if my children are going to go to university here in Nigeria, they will go to Ife. So Ife is known for academic excellence. The rigor we passed through that time was what made us what we are today. My advice to those who have graduated and still striving with life is that, like there is an adage in Yoruba that says, we might be age mates, we are not grace mates. God has purpose and plan for everybody. It might be looking a bit rough today. Stay focused. Stay within the legal means. Don't do anything illegal. You are a graduate, for crying out loud. Your time will come. Things will happen. Line will always fall in places. All those big people you see today, everybody has their own story to tell. If some people tell you what they have passed through, you won't believe it. That this man, I know of one of our friends who graduated from Ife together, who for like the first 10 years, he didn't even get a job. Today he works with a multinational company. Not as just a staff, but as a director. Today is richer than those that have started work before him. So the way God plans everybody's life is different. So just be focused, and God will one day crown each and every one's effort. Let me first commend all the brain behind this Oghene project, because the greatest thing that can happen to you as an alumni of a school is to have opportunity of meeting together, which I want to tell you that even the alumni association have not been able to achieve. This project, I believe, is going to, the whole world is all about networking now. I'm into communication, for example, and we may have a graduate of Ife out there who is a guru, who has all what it takes to help my company grow. But we don't have a platform for us to meet. So I believe this project is going to create a very good platform for all of us, both in Nigeria and those in diaspora, to meet. The whole world is a global village now. So that we can all now know this is what we are into, this is what this person is doing, help ourselves, come together to better our lot. So I really appreciate my appointment as a patron of this program, of this project, and I'm giving you my word that I'm going to support this project with every breath in me, because it's actually a very wonderful project. Yeah, what I have to say is that all the Oghene team, you should keep up the good work. Definitely you are going to be faced with a lot of challenges in achieving this, but with commitment, resilience, and steadfastness, I know this project is achievable and is going to outlive every one of you. So please keep up the good work.